AskReddit Storytime. Please like and subscribe. If you are struggling, and need someone to talk to, call the Samaritans on 116-123. What is something someone said to you that hit you the hardest? Never make fun of someone's laugh because they will be self-conscious about being happy. Waking up to gold is a beautiful thing. Thanks. Very true. In middle school my friends would try and make me laugh cause it was a hiccupy laugh that sounded like a squeaky toy. I finally realized that they weren't making me laugh to make me happy, they were making me laugh so that they could laugh at me. I spent a couple years self-conscious and trying to change my laugh so now the squeaky toy laugh only comes out when I'm not thinking about it. I have noticed a lot of people have a distinct laugh like that will come out when something hits their funny bone unexpectedly or something is just so funny to them at that moment they can't control it. I really enjoy those moments when I can draw it out in someone else because you know that they were really impacted by it and are living in that moment. That being said, I am really self-conscious about mine as well. When that happens, instead of dwelling on it and feeling like a dipshit over something you should never be embarrassed by, embrace it and focus on what made you laugh in the first place. I've lived a good life. I'm ready to go. My grandma who is still physically and mentally healthy. I just wasn't ready for it. My grandmother spoke openly about this in the last years of her life. She wasn't even remotely a negative person, and wasn't suffering from any life-threatening illness, but she was in her mid-80s, had 2 healthy children and 2 grandsons that had grown up and started their own lives and families. She had lost just about everyone in her life that she knew, and while she cherished her time with us it was limited with us living far away. She was just matter-of-fact about it. She had lived a very good life, one full of challenges she had met head-on and persevered, had built a life for herself she was proud of and saw it slowly seeping away due to small health issues and the eventual reduction in her ability to live her life the way she wanted to. She told me she spent most of her time alone in her room reading and watching TV and that there were no more surprises for her, so she was ready for her life to end before it went downhill. The last time we spoke about this she had been suffering from some minor memory issues, but she was lucid and joking around with me. We told each other that we loved one another and I told her that she meant the world to me. We hugged and I left to go back home. She ended up getting pneumonia and slipping away peacefully a few months later. That conversation was her saying goodbye, though we didn't know it at the time. And look, I didn't want her to die, I miss her like crazy, but I respect the hell out of her attitude and how she approached her life and death. We should all be so lucky and courageous that we're able to face the whole breadth of our lives with that much honesty and grace. So yes, sometimes people really are ready. Edit. Wow, this blew up a bit. Thanks for all the kind words and your stories. I spent the day telling stories about my grandmother to my wife and 6-month-old daughter, who is named after her. When you find someone better, please just let me down gently. Are you still with the person who said this to you? Yep. Love them so much. What up? I got a new phone and went out of state for the weekend on the same day. I tried to activate the new phone but they wouldn't let me until I was back in my home state. On the drive home one of my friends called my brother, who I was with, to get a hold of me and tell me our other friend committed suicide. Later that day I got my new phone activated and got a text from the friend that committed suicide that just said what up. He must have sent it not long before he killed himself, not knowing I couldn't text back. I can't imagine how alone he must have felt. I know it sounds conceited but I can't help but think if I was able to talk to him, maybe he wouldn't have done it. Edit. I really hate when people do these but I now somewhat understand why. There's no way I can respond to everybody but I'll try because I think it matters. Also, really wish I didn't use my prawn account for this post. Not me, but a friend of mine was smoking on a break at work and a woman did the whole "why smoke? Smoking's bad" thing and he said he just didn't have a good reason to quit, to which she said, "Son, there are people you haven't even met yet who are going to need you here." I never forgot it. I quit just a month or so after that, and I remember it whenever I'm about to do something stupid, so daily. My father passed away 4 years ago from smoking. We always talked about how I wanted to become an engineer. He wanted to be one, but his father had forced him to study medicine and he didn't want to break his heart. I'm just about to finish my first year in engineering school and this made me tear up thinking if he'd have quit had he read it and how he'd have felt if he was still here to see me. I'm sorry to open up, but I really had no one to tell this to without feeling extremely vulnerable, so I thank you for making me remember my father, and you're a wonderful person overall, and quitting smoking has only made you a better person. Edit. Thanks to all of you friends. I felt strange typing this comment, but you guys comforted me that it's okay to talk about these things sometimes. I'm sorry I had a long day because final season is here and all that, and I'm going to make sure I reply to every one of you. Being good to people won't make them good to you. Edit. I didn't expect for this comment to blow up or get silver. Thanks so much guys. I'd like to add to my comment. Though being good to others leaves you vulnerable to being taken advantage of, doesn't mean it's not worth giving certain people the benefit of the doubt. Do not let the lack of reciprocation discourage you from displaying kindness towards one another. We are humanity and we have each other. The day is always brighter when you radiate kindness. When I was a little girl, I adored my dad. Followed him everywhere, wanted to do everything he did. And I sure tried. He was never great at saying how he felt, but I always remember saying, "I love you, Daddy." And he always replied, "I love you, daughter." When I was a preteen, he had no idea what to do with me, and backed off hard. I was super awkward as a teenager, and our relationship was super rocky. We had a lot of hurtful exchanges, and I spent as little time at home as I could. In the summer of 2007, I wrote him a letter, telling him that the way he distanced himself from me was hurtful, and that I didn't know how to deal with the harshness of our current relationship, but that I still loved him and wanted to try and move past our painful interactions and rebuild our relationship. He never responded to most of it, but told me he was sorry, and wanted to fix things, too. That winter, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I moved home and took over household things, helping deal with doctors, physical therapists, and eventually hospice. My mom was, understandably, a mess, and I tried hard to hold it together for them. Things were getting bad, he was fading hard. One night I went in to say goodnight to him, and in a wave of nostalgia, I said, "I love you, Daddy." He hadn't spoken all day, his throat was dry, he was on massive doses of morphine, but he still whispered back to me, "I love you, daughter." He slipped into a coma that night, and never spoke another word. Edit. Wow, thank you for the platinum, but especially thank you everyone for all the kind words and understanding. To everyone who is going through this, or feels this pain, you're not alone. I was at an interview recently and there was a young man about my age who turned to me and said, "Hey, bro, can you help me tie this necktie? I didn't have a dad to teach me growing up, so I still don't know how to do it." That really struck a heartstring with me. The fact that this man I barely even knew felt confident revealing something so vulnerable make me instantly respect him. It was strange, but I got the impression that he was someone I could be good friends with. We both got hired. I look forward to working with him soon. Edit. Many of you were wondering why he didn't Google how to tie his necktie. This was a law enforcement oral board exam, psychological interview we were both attending. The academy instructors had pulled us from the auditorium where they were keeping all the recruit candidates so we could get fitted for our BDUs, PT gear and polos. As such, we were told to leave all our belongings except the suits on our backs. No phones are allowed in that part of the academy anyway. Hope you enjoyed. These people, these managers and these directors and all those other co-workers who are marginally above you, they don't give a flat ducking sh about you. Protecting you is not in their interests. The only things they are protecting are the company, because that keeps the paychecks coming, and if they have to choose you over their bills, then they will duck you every single time. So don't ever trust them, no matter how much they sound like they are going to bat for you. No matter how ducking sincere those dogs seem like they are being. That was my co-worker Matt, before he quit his job when we worked together as an insurance adjuster. Made me really open my eyes and realize how people behave at offices and see through corporate bull. It's not exactly earth-shaking, but I never understood playing games with cheats. From time to time I'd use them, but I had friends who'd barely play a game without using cheats. Out of the blue, years after I was big into gaming, I visited a friend who was playing GTA 4. She was playing with cheats and I asked her why. She says, "All day I have to deal with consequences, this is the one time I don't have to." It completely 180'd my viewpoint. I've never had so much make sense, change my opinion, by one simple sentence. She suffers with depression, so for me, it ran a lot deeper than just playing games. It made me think twice about questioning the things people enjoy or how they live their lives. I never thought something so trivial could hold such poignance. If you are struggling, and need someone to talk to, call the Samaritans on 116 123. AskReddit Storytime. Please like and subscribe.